Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, did the Fed or the Fed minutes just kill Bitcoin? Bitcoin fell down pretty hard, down to 42,000. We're hovering around 43,000. So obviously, not looking so good right now. And not only that, the entire equities market fell down. Tech stocks got hammered. So what is going on? What was said exactly that was revealed in the Fed minutes that wasn't revealed before? Well, I'm going to discuss exactly what happened, and I'm going to talk about whether or not the Fed just killed Bitcoin. So let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. Fear is extremely high tonight. We are now at 15 on the fear index. Haven't seen this level for quite some time. The last time was around when? Actually around December. So actually not that far. I was thinking about, back in May and June and July, but no, actually we had this a couple times in December. Okay, so wasn't that long ago, but of course we are still in extreme fear right now. And due to Bitcoin's fall to 42,000 not too long ago, now it's hovering around 43, we had massive liquidations once again. People thought, oh, there's no way that Bitcoin could fall anymore, right? Well, guess what? It did, and another $619 million worth of long leverage trades gone, wiped out. So, unfortunately, a lot of people got wrecked. Greedy longs got wrecked, okay? And you could argue, even if you didn't play with leverage, you got wrecked. Well, keep in mind, if you don't sell, you're actually not losing. But before I get to that, all right, so what exactly happened, okay? This morning, I covered how there was 2 things that may be weighing on the market. Number 1 is the Fed minutes, and number 2, the new strain from France. And there's something else going on with Kazakhstan, but still, what really spooked the market, brought it down, a huge sell-off with the Dow, S&P, and especially NASDAQ. NASDAQ was really horrific, and all big tech companies got sold off, and that's because of the Fed minutes and how Wall Street really overreacted to it. Or did they? So what came out of it that surprised the market? The Fed minutes is just basically meeting notes. What was discussed during the December meeting, which we already know Chairman Powell came out and said, well, there's a couple things he's looking to do. Number 1 is tapering, meaning he's going to buy less bonds every single month. And then number 2 is to raise interest rates. So that's not a surprise. But I guess what is a surprise, what came out of this is this. They also are looking at reducing their balance sheet. And I had to do some digging. What's the implications to this? Why is this such a big deal? Well, let's take a look at a couple things. First of all, how did we get here? Why is all this being implemented this year? Well, of course, I think you guys know. The trillions that was printed, and the trillions that was bought by the Fed. So take a look at this. The balance sheet of the Federal Reserve went from about a little bit under 4 trillion, and you could see how it went down slightly, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But it went from under 4 trillion to now over 8 trillion, closing in at 9 trillion. So they finally decided that, hey, this was a little bit too much, too high. So we need to do something about it. So during the meeting, the minutes, basically there was 3 things that was mentioned: tapering, interest rate hike, and reduction of the balance sheet. And this is what got really people scared. And that's why everything turned. Okay, so what does this mean exactly? What does it mean to reduce the balance sheet, right? So this is the reason why market got spooked. What does it really mean? Well, this is what it means. The treasuries or the bonds or securities that the Fed holds, basically they have maturity dates, right? All securities have maturity dates, especially if you're talking about U.S. Treasury bond or something like that, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 30 years. There's usually a maturity date. And if you wait until that maturity date, then you get the interest promise, which is still very low, but still there is something. And what's been happening is when those securities mature, they get replaced with another security, basically the same equivalent one. And, it just keeps rolling like that. And basically how they unwind or reduce their balance sheet is by letting these expire, not replacing them with another one. So this way, over time, it starts gradually dropping off their balance sheet and it starts going down. The problem with this is that it tends to be slow. And it looks like, Fed Chairman Powell wants to make things faster because of how fast the balance sheet has been going up. And this is the real worry here, okay? And I'm going to get to the gist of this, why people are threatened by this. Well, this happened from 2017 to 2019. So I talked about how you could see how there's a little dip. It's surprising that it dipped at all. You would expect it just keeps going up forever. But no, around 2017 is when they announced that, hey, we want to reduce the balance sheet. 4.4 trillion is already too high. We want to get it down to half. That was their goal, to get that down to about 2 point something trillion. So they're like, okay, let's decrease our balance sheet by doing exactly what I said. But unfortunately, it was just too slow. And they got down to about 3.7. And guess what happened? COVID happened, right? And that's when things went really out of control. So not only was it too slow, but also it never fully completed because it was supposed to be ongoing until 2020 and beyond, but it didn't happen. So it worked slightly. It was kind of like a drop in the bucket, and then things got wildly out of control, right? And why this is relevant, especially for Bitcoin, okay? And you could say that this may be a direct reason or indirect reason because, of course, we know Bitcoin's top was in 2017, the last cycle. What happened in 18, 19, and 20? Well, Bitcoin was stuck in crypto winter. But that makes sense, right? Because 2017 is a top for Bitcoin. And, of course, traditional 4-year cycles, like the previous one in 2013, you have a top and then 3 years of down years, and then you have one good year and you start over. But here's the thing. If you look at what happened in 2018, 2019, 2020, that happens to be the years when the reduction in balance sheet was happening, right? And rates was climbing up as well. So some would argue that this is horrendous for Bitcoin and could be horrendous for tech stocks. That is why Wall Street started to sell off, because if interest rates starts going up, tapering starts happening, reduction of balance sheets, which means that a lot of the bonds that the U.S. the Federal Reserve holds is just going to be matured and done, is not going to be renewed. It gets a lot of people antsy, right? This is the reason why for what we're seeing right now. So does this mean that essentially the Fed has just killed Bitcoin, right? That's the ultimate question. Did they really kill Bitcoin? Here's the thing. Okay, despite all this, and you could say that maybe this is a direct cause, right? But despite all this, I have good news for you guys. Do I think Bitcoin is killed? Number one, no, I do not think Bitcoin is killed, because everything that I've been telling you guys about, what I'm interested in terms of holding, investing, long-term, life-changing wealth, that is still my goal. Even though I achieved it, I want to achieve it some more, and I want you guys to achieve it with me. All right, so that's number one. Number two is all the fundamentals of Bitcoin and Web 3.0 and DeFi and NFT, the foundation that really spurred up in 2021, now that we're 22, did not go away. Did not go away. It's still the future, and this will pass. Okay? And that's because this is an evolving and growing change, a fundamental change in society. Okay, I'm just gonna go there. Okay, starting with money. So, all right, let me show you some of the good stuff that I'm talking about. Right, first of all, let's just put into context. Right now, where we are, even though Bitcoin has come down, right? I know 43,000. To put into context, is this lower than our previous lows in 2021? Let's just start out with that. No. We had two lower lows. We had one that ended at about 39,000. So we're not there yet. And we had one that went to 28,000. So number one, we're not any lower than the lows from 2021. Not even lower than the previous low of this. So that's number one. Number two is, despite the fact we'd had a sell-off, right? And many people are thinking that I lost all my gains and stuff. This is the reason why I've been doing this portfolio with you guys, okay? The one that I built late June of 2021. I didn't build this 5 years ago or 3 years ago. I built this approximately 6 months ago. And even though it's down from its all-time high, guess what? It's still up around 58%. So did all the gains just wipe out and disappear into nothing? The answer is no. All I did was buy and hold and DCA $100 every single week. I did it in front of you guys. I have not touched it, not made any trades. And despite the fact that it seems like all is lost and Bitcoin is dead, well, the portfolio is still up 60%. Okay? So putting things into context. So first of all, it's not as bad as this seems. But of course, the fundamentals, what I really believe in, hasn't changed. For example, let's take a look at this. The miners that I've been talking about, the ones that are supporting Bitcoin Network, this is a representation of how much Bitcoins they hold, and the percentage is how much they've grown since last year, just 1 year ago. And you can see that the number of Bitcoins they hold is in the hundreds of millions. There is no dip whatsoever, and everyone is double or triple in terms of their holdings. Miners are not selling. Miners are not selling at this point. They continue to mine, they continue to hold, and they even borrowing against the Bitcoin, and they're putting Bitcoin in a balance sheet. Okay, so Bitcoin, at least Bitcoin's network right now, is very safe. The miners are not thinking about selling at all. And there's more. What about what I've been talking about in terms of total number of Bitcoin on exchanges and a liquid supply? And I know this one is a little bit harder to read, but the red line measures supply outside exchanges, basically a liquid supply. And then a purple line is representing the supply on exchanges. And you can see they're going in the opposite direction. Despite the fact that Bitcoin's price has been coming down, they continue to go in opposite directions, and a liquid supply goes up and the supply goes down. Okay? When it comes to Bitcoin's price, it's just supply and demand. And right now, demand is still dropping. I mean, supply is still dropping, not demand. And demand is still going up despite what we're seeing right now. So this also very good. Now, there's other things that I can mention. For example, if you're like a TA guy, right? Many TA analysts expected that this was to happen, that it had nothing to do with Fed, right? And I'll show you, because I've just drawn out some lines here. Many look at what's happening right now versus what happened, well, when Bitcoin fell down to 30,000. And what happened there? You could see that Bitcoin fell down to about 28,000. And it had a hard time coming up, but it kept hitting, right? Basically finding that floor. And it really had this really kind of like a double bottom moment where you first had that initial dip, right? Just like our original dip down to 42, and that happened early December. Then you had, some volatility up and down, and you can see since December we kind of had that on a smaller scale. And finally, we had that one final drop back to 29 at that point, and then we start rallying like crazy. So if you're like a TA guy, a lot of people has been looking at this 42 mark, and we finally did hit it. So we had that original drop, and then now we've hit it, and it looks like it's a support. And if this is mimicking what happened before, well then, of course, we're going to have that tremendous bounce up. And if you're an indicator guy and you're looking at oversold levels, everything is in an oversold level right now. If you look at any time frame, I'm looking at the daily RSI's oversold, 4 hours oversold, 1 hour's oversold, 15 minutes oversold. Like every single time frame is also indicating oversold condition. So that's TA. And then of course, if you look at a bigger picture, if you look at previous cycles, tech dev is really good at looking fractal patterns and comparing to previous cycles, right? We have not formed a top yet. We haven't hit the same points like before using TA, using, in this case, Fibonacci levels, right? So from a TA perspective, this is actually still normal, still in range. And in fact, some would argue that this is actually what's needed before we can have the next run up. Two other things I want to show you guys, okay? Number one is you still have big businesses like NYDIG that is getting massive funding because of growing adoption for Bitcoin. If you don't believe that Bitcoin is growing, then you should believe this. Why would VCs and other investors put $1 billion into NYDIG, which is considered one of the biggest Bitcoin brokers on the planet Earth? Okay, think about that. And this was just 2 weeks ago, right? So again, adoption is growing, fundamentals growing. And lastly, about this point about did Bitcoin just die? Well, I could tell you that Bitcoin has been declared dead 440 times. Did Bitcoin die? No. I've read this list once to you guys, going all the way back to when Bitcoin was just a few dollars. Actually, if you go back to this one, only 23 cents. 23 cents, a few dollars, a few $100s to a few $1,000, and it keeps going on and on and on. And there are 440 cases of Bitcoin's death. But guess what? They were all wrong. Every single one. So do I feel like the Fed killed Bitcoin? The answer is no, no, and no, and no, right? Bitcoin's not dead. It's down, but it's not down and out, right? And like I said, relatively speaking, comparatively to previous lows of 2021, we did not break through any of them. So we're still higher. Now, last thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin dominance, because I think this is also important. And this is the reason why I made my video this morning about paying attention to L1s and network protocols and altcoins in general. If this correction happened in 2018, 2019, 2020, and Bitcoin is down about 6%, Ethereum would be down about 20%. And all these other winners, Solana and Cardano and Terra and Polkadot and Avalanche, they would be down 20 to 30%. Had this happened in 2018, 2019, or 2020. But it is not those years. It is now 2022. And L1s and TVL continues to hold extremely strong. So my point is, look at Bitcoin dominance. With today's drop, Bitcoin dominance is still below 40%. So that means everything else is still holding, relatively speaking, compared to Bitcoin. You don't have true panic. When you have true panic, that's when everyone dumps all their TVL, dumps everything. It goes back to Bitcoin or stablecoins. But that is not what's happening right now. It's not, right? And I can show you DeFi Llama, which gives you the total value locked of all the chains. Well, take a look. I mean, it doesn't even look like it dipped at all, right? It's still hovering near the top. This is the reason why L1s and network protocols and DeFi plays have been very, very strong, right? So again, I think that's positive because it does show you that truly people are not as panicking as you may think, right? And if you are, and you really are panicking, and you really think that everything's going to be over and it's not for you, right? Just keep in mind some of the biggest investors out there, okay? What do they preach? They preach when you buy, you want to buy when others are fearful. You want to buy when others are bleeding out, when there's blood on the street, even if it's your own blood, right? Because that's how you take advantage. You buy low and you sell high. So one of the main reasons why I've been telling you guys to hold 20, 25, 30% of cash. Why do you think that is? So you could take advantage when things come down, right? And my plan was, as we go higher, we break into new highs, keep taking off 10% off the top. Again, for the same reasons. If things come down, you could take advantage, right? So now, for those of you guys that don't have extra cash, you want to buy the dip, and you can't, well, this will be a valuable lesson to make sure that you have some cash on the side to be able to take advantage of dips, okay? So, just want to give you guys that. So, in conclusion, what did I think and what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to end with this. First of all, I don't think Bitcoin's dead. There could be a chance. I'm just going to say it based on history. So, I'm not going to just 100% exclude this, right? Based on history, because in 2017 and 2019, we had seen something similar. Not to this extent, but we have seen something similar. Of course, we didn't have the crazy printing and the crazy inflation rates like before. So the reduction before was not as accelerated as it is now, right? But we did have a prolonged kind of down period for Bitcoin, right? Prolonged down period for crypto. So I'm not going to ignore that. But again, I just got done saying what I did, right? The growing fundamentals, the strong strength of the L1s, the TVL and staking, it's all here. It wasn't really available before, right? So for me, I'm staying in the game. I'm going to DCA, and what I'm going to do is get more involved with staking and staking rewards. This is my video from yesterday, right? Yesterday night. And I decided to experiment, and I think I'm going to go hard on this one protocol, this one DeFi play, because you know what? When there is turmoil, uncertainty, and you just don't want any of that, and you just want to get rewarded for your crypto, well, that's what you do. You stake. You find a DeFi project or you find a project and you stake. And it's not something that I've really done before. I've used BlockFi, I've used Celsius, and they're decent interest, right? But it's hard to ignore what I recently found, and that's the 20% from Anchor. 19.45 from Anchor, which is built within Terra's ecosystem. And I know this has been popular. Many people have been talking about this, right? And I finally dug in and experimented, and it's actually, the system is just so easy to do. So the other thing I'm going to start doing is doing more staking. Not only am I going to DCA, and we'll continue to DCA, but what I'm going to do is put a lot of my money into staking because it's worry-free. Whatever you put in, especially a stable coin, in this case it's UST, there's no fluctuations. It doesn't matter if the market goes up or down, it stays the same. And on Anchor, you're getting about 19.5 APY. So, for example, you could see I deposited about $10,000 into it. Daily interest is nothing to brag about, $5. Week is $37. Month is $162. But then when you look at a year, the expected interest is almost $2,000 from the $10,000. So think about that. 20% is no joke. You put $100,000 in there, your interest is now $19,500. You put $1 million in here, you're going to collect $200,000 of interest. And that's more money than what most people make in a year, right? With their good job. So if you think about it, it's absolutely insane, and it's hard to ignore these kind of rewards. So, and Terra is one of the big caps. Anchor has been around. Terra USD is over 10 billion. So in terms of risk, I think it's minimal compared to some of these rug pull projects, which promises like crazy insane, right? So that's the third thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend a lot more time staking because I feel like this is something I missed out on. I've never really done much of it in the past, but I will be doing a lot more of it going forward. All right, there you go. There you go. Hopefully you guys are a little bit calmer, a little bit cooler head, I guess. And realize that Bitcoin is not killed. It may be down right now. It will get back up. All right, so there you go. Now let's do some Q&A. I really should have busted out my blue label, but you know what? I'll settle for my favorite drink in the world, strawberry White Claw. So there you go. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Someone says DeFi Kingdom is offering 500 APR. I see that to me is a big red flag. I know DeFi Kingdoms is a big project that's on Harmony, but anything that high, I do not trust. I do not trust it at all. So, all right, I'm scrolling up here, making sure I don't miss any comments. Let's see here. Hey, you know what? I totally forgot. Today is Wednesday. Today is DCA day. What a perfect day to DCA. Justin says, AMC GME the best hedge for crypto crashes. Those two got slaughtered. Slaughtered today. No. Actually, I was wrong. I thought I saw it crash, but no, AMC is actually in the green. My bad. My bad. Maybe I was thinking about Tesla. GME, it's actually up. You're actually right. I thought you were trolling. But let's see. Someone like Tesla. Yeah, wait, is this right? No, I think this is aftermarket. That's why. Yeah, this is aftermarket. Yeah, Tesla got slaughtered 5% today. AMC, yeah, I knew it got slaughtered. See, no, I knew it was down 11%, right? So basically, meme stocks, not a good hedge against the Fed. Tech stocks, not a good hedge against the Fed. And you know what? It's just overall not a good day. Not a good day. Tried KuCoin for crypto. I mean, I've tried, but I don't like KuCoin's setup. It's very confusing. You know, with using Anchor, you know, it is like as easy as pie. As easy as pie. So here, actually, what you want to do is I could tell you exactly what I did, and it's very easy. So first of all, you go to Terra Station, and then you download their wallet. Okay, it's a mobile wallet, and it's a browser wallet. But I happen to use browser wallet because it's very, very simple, right? What you want to do is transfer UST. So you could get that on DEXs. If you want to get on exchanges, you could get on KuCoin. You could get on Gate.io, okay? But I'll tell you a warning that there's a lot of congestion, so it took forever to transfer. But you guys can see, I have $100,000 in here waiting to be staked, right? So I plan on doing that right after the stream, but I already tested with 10,000. But all you have to do after you get it into your wallet here, all you have to do is click this, earn, and then you just tell it how much you want. And then it just goes in, and then that's it. And it stays in your wallet. And what's great about Terra Station is if you use a ledger, you can actually just go straight from your ledger to Terra Station. So you don't even have to actually use their wallet. It integrates the ledger. So it adds that layer of security if you wanted to. But after you put it in, you know, that's it. It's in here, and then you don't have to worry about it. So, in terms of complexity, this is it's not as easy as just doing it on exchange, but it's much easier compared to some of the other solutions out there. So, just to show you guys, I plan on staking a lot more in the future. Let's see. Can you look at upbots? Today's probably not the good time to look at it. 10,000 people tuning in. I know a lot of you guys are just wondering what's going on. Hopefully, if you tune in late, know that my answer is no. Bitcoin was not killed. But there is some concern, and there was a lot, I guess, said. And in particular, I think most people are worried about reducing the balance sheet and what happened last time when it happened. But Bitcoin is strong. Crypto is strong. We will get through this. If you missed my whole spiel, make sure you rewind. Tax advice for staking would be great. I mean, whatever you're earning, that's taxable event. So there's nothing you could do in terms of getting around the taxes. You just have to find proper deductions. Talk to an advisor. Talk to a CPA. Nathan, I know you're trolling, but tonight, I'm not going to repeat what you said. I don't think a lot of people will find it funny. Did you see that Evergrande forced to destroy 39 buildings? No, I didn't see that. I've been using Coinbase for the last 2 months, about to hit $100 invested. What do you think I should upgrade to? Coinbase is, if you're just at $100, I mean, Coinbase is fine. Once you get into thousands or tens of thousands, then you should probably look at other exchanges. Because Coinbase has a ton of crypto on there right now, but the fees are a little bit higher. But the other exchanges like Binance.us, you could look at Gate.io, KuCoin. I like KuCoin a lot. But there's several others that you could use too. But if you're just at $100, I think you should just stay at Coinbase. Luke says crypto is a scam, only benefits the rich. Well, obviously you're new and you don't realize how many broke people, including myself, that made millions from crypto, and they didn't start rich. All they had was some money and patience. Really, when it comes down to crypto and making a ton of money in crypto, is patience, right? Of course, if you could DCA, dollar cost average over long haul, or buy the dips, that's even better. So, Luke, you are 100% wrong. Let's see. Anything else? What did I miss here? Jay Polar says I'm broke, increasing my net worth with crypto. Yeah, crypto would do that to you. Crypto would do that to you. Team Collins. Okay, thank you. What happens to UST once no Luna is left to burn? That's an interesting question. That is something that a Luna team has to figure out. In fact, that's why they did their Columbus 5 update, because they realized that the burn rate was just too aggressive. So they decided to set a certain amount of UST to be minted and a certain amount of Luna to be burned, and they set on some kind of schedule. But I do think that if it becomes too aggressive, right now, it's almost a no-brainer, and there's statistics showing basically, Anchor and staking Anchor is the really driving force of why Terra USD is so widely used and why it's so minted and why Luna has been going sky high, for the last year. But I think the team will figure it out. But right now, it is very, very, very deflationary. And it's good for Luna holders. Oh yeah, I forgot DC. Thanks for the video. Always looking forward to your show, especially on days like today. What do you think about ICP? I don't know. Will I ever live up to the hype? There's some question marks. I think they're an okay project. I think they caught too much slack because they got pumped up way too much and they dumped on everyone. Okay, not the team did, but everyone else, investors and a lot of people got dumped on. But I don't know. I don't know if I like them better than others. I actually don't know a lot about them other than how they started, and that's pretty much it. But there's a few things that was concerning. They have like some kind of ID system, not using wallets, or not using addresses. So there's a little concern there, and there's other things, little concerns here or there. So I don't know. I'm just not a fan of ICP. Yeah, today is DCA day. And I just show you guys the portfolio, right? Despite the fact we did fall down, right? I know. Still up about 60%, right? But today is a prime day to be DCAing. Prime day to be DCAing. And this is my portfolio. This is a sample portfolio that I built with you guys. This is not my own personal portfolio. In case you guys think I only have $11,000 in my portfolio, that is not true. But I did build this on the fly with you guys, basically based on a lot of the L1s and, of course, Bitcoin that I like, right? And you guys can see what I have. In the last 24 hours, let's sort this. The biggest loser is Constellation. Constellation has not been performing, and neither has Theta. So I don't know if I want to DCA into them, but I do like a lot of things started moving recently. Harmony has been moving. Cosmos finally has been moving. Right? There's a lot that's moving in here. Arweave was doing very good. Solana, obviously, Polygon and Avalanche, they've been doing very good. You know what I want to buy? Last week I bought some Cadena. You know what? I'm going to DCA into VeChain. You know what? I'm going to split it between two. I'm going to put it in VeChain, $50 in VeChain, and I'm going to put $50 into Cosmos. Because VeChain, finally, with their new stablecoin, they're getting some traction. And I think they're just undersold anyway. So, oversold. So, let's add a little VeChain quantity. I got to do some math here. Let's do $50 divided by 0.08175. So, that's about 611. All right. So, that's $50. And then I'm going to add a little Cosmos because I do like Cosmos and I like where they're going. So $50 divided by 36.84. It's about 1.357. There we go. Okay, that's what I added. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep going and keep going and keep going to prove my point that if you have patience and you buy the right projects and you simply DCA over a long haul, you're going to come out a winner. And you're going to build some true wealth and possibly attain financial freedom. There you go. Was it a decline caused by situation caused it? No, zero. It has nothing to do with it. It has 100% to do with the Fed minutes. Now I shouldn't say 100%, but it was clear after it was released, everything started coming down. What about Charlie 3? Nah, just go with Chainlink. Chainlink actually has been coming up recently. There's no Oracle out there that does anything remotely close to Chainlink. You look at the number of chains, number of transactions, number of value processed. It's like Chainlink is up here and other people are so low it doesn't even register. Like Charlie 3. Okay, so if it comes to oracles, just go with Chainlink. Don't even consider anyone else. The small dump is good. It's really good. It cleans the books. Well, there's always liquidations. So we had about 620 million of longs liquidated. So that's not good, but it does clear the books. And many people, especially in the TA world, thought that we had to hit 42 first because that's the only way before we can truly come back up, right? Kind of like this, kind of like when we hit 30,000 over here. If you look at right here versus here, it's actually very similar on a smaller scale. Not as big, but on a smaller scale, very, very similar, okay? And again, to put things in perspective, in case you guys are really, really, really panicking, we are not lower than our previous low back in September, and we're definitely not lower than our low back in July, okay? So put things in perspective. There you go. Brian Youngblood says, really appreciate all your time, teaching us to stay calm. You're second to none here on YouTube. I'm just teaching you guys what I had to go through, okay? So this is what I wish someone did with me back when I got into crypto. It's just really a matter of having patience. That's really it. And most people in this space don't, because most people get into crypto for fast gains, right? And I get it. Everyone gets into crypto pretty much for the same reason. But then, you go through some volatility, you go through a crypto winter, and you learn a thing or two, right? Jose says, just panic bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, Immutable X, and Condena. I think that's a good lineup. That's a good lineup right there. Angel for Truth said, the world is falling apart. Is it falling apart, or is the media making it seem like it's falling apart? You know what the media does, right? The media only concentrates on bad stuff. If you watch media news, you watch any news, okay, 99% is worrisome. You know why? Just like why I created a worrisome title for this video, because people are drawn to it. That is why. So did the world really get much worse? It's arguable. Arguable, I should say. Okay. Yes, we still have a virus. We have many variants, right? But the world is continuing on. So I think the media is just making it worse, or making it seem like it's worse. I could be wrong on that, but I just don't think the world is actually that bad. Maybe because I just spend 24/7 looking at crypto. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Step says, best bear market is the best time to get in. Who does not wish they had the opportunity to get in when it was dumping from 1,000 to 200, right? So yes, that is true. But at those moments, no one ever thinks that. I've lived through, I don't know how many dumps. When Bitcoin dumped from 10,000 to 3,000, I'll tell you, no one was trying to buy at 3,000. No one was trying to buy at 4,000 because they were fearful, thinking that it was going to go down to 1,000 because that was unbelievable at the time. Think about it. Bitcoin fell down 66% in a matter of like a day. Okay, so think about that versus our 7% now, just to put things in perspective. Now, Bitcoin went down 66% right now. I think very different. But I lived through that. I lived through when Bitcoin went even lower to 3,000, right? It hit 3,800 in March of 2020. It hit 3,000 in 2018, end of 2018. So I've seen Ethereum below $100 when it was at $83, and people were panicking and they didn't want to buy Ethereum at $83. Look at where it is now, right? I've been through many times, even last year, 2021, Ethereum, certain points in 2021 hit below 2,000, 1,800. I remember that. Told you guys that looks like a pretty good buying opportunity, right? So had you picked up, had patience, and just picked up and hodled, you're doing just fine right now. You're doing just fine, right? So yes, money is made when you buy low, buy at the fearful times. That's why so many famous investors say, buy when others are fearful, buy when there's blood in the streets, possibly your own blood. If you believe in a project, you believe in the future, and it's growing adoption and growing awareness, growing fundamentals, well, then you have no choice but just to continue forward, right? You don't want to give up your hard work and the path you're on and your wealth, you don't want to give up on that and transfer it to someone else, right? You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. All right. Last few questions. Bought 200,000 vet. Congratulations. DZO. Honestly, I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry. Never mind BTC. Retail FOMO is dead. Whales, miners, institutions, moving market. No. Yes and no. But the way you're saying it is in a negative connotation, and I don't believe that's the case. These miners are not playing with the market right now. In fact, what they're doing is basically just continue forward, continue mining and holding and mining and holding and mining and holding. Because they know there's only less than 10% of Bitcoin left to be mined. And everyone is fighting for that. Everyone. And that is why reserves keeps dropping. How will stablecoins of USDC be affected by bear market? It won't. It won't. That's the whole point of stablecoins. Tether will stay at $1. USDC will stay at $1. BUSD will stay at $1. Terra USD will stay at $1. Every stablecoin will stay at $1. Doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes up and down, the market goes up, the rate hike goes up. I mean, it doesn't matter. Stablecoins stay at $1. Priscilla, I guess you haven't been back for a while. Welcome back. Welcome back. USDT doubled market cap. Yes, 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 because they've been audited so many times. They've been audited by every single regulatory body, and every single time they come out just fine. Just because USDT went double doesn't mean that it didn't double in the number of people that wanted, USDT. Right? I know they had a shady history, and I still think there may be something to it, right? I still trust USDC a lot more than USDT, but Tether has been audited by every single person out there. I mean, regulatory body. And they all concluded that they have done nothing wrong, and they paid some fines, and that's it. So, there you go. There you go. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Overall, guys, I know we got some bad news from the minutes, but it seems to me that the market just overreacted because whatever was said in the minutes was not any different than what Powell said last month, okay? He said the exact same thing. The only difference is that there was mention about decreasing the balance sheet. But according to many, that's not even a for sure thing, and that may come after a rate hike. Because many people are interpreting that this will come soon, really soon, maybe even next month. And rate hike might come next month and everything comes next month. No, that's not the case. These things take time to put into motion, right? So I do think that the market overreacted, but I guess we'll see. Right? And there's some correlation with reducing balance sheet to crypto winter. I know there's some correlation with that, but the environment is just so different now, and nothing about the fundamentals have changed. So I'm sticking with Bitcoin, and I'm sticking with crypto. I don't believe it's killed, and I believe it's going to continue forward, but what I'm doing is going to be the same. I'm going to stay patient, DCA, but now something that's different is I'm going to take advantage more of staking and staking rewards and just utilizing DeFi like so many of you guys out there and just earning rewards from it. Why not? Why not? Especially if you have a large amount of crypto, especially waiting in stable coins. Why not, right? All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Stay strong, my friends. And Gerald asked, what stablecoin would you move BTC to? Go with USDC. USDC. I think they're a good one. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.